Hello, I'm a guy that likes to talk about 80s music, and today I want to talk about Heart and their song These Dreams. These dreams go on when I close my eyes. Every second of the night, I live another life. Ah, it's a wonderful song. This was a number one song back in 1986, and I think Heart is a great band anyway, but this is my favorite song of theirs. They were a band who were around since the 70s. They were known for Barracuda and Magic Man. They were classic rock, hard rock, arena rock, whatever you called it back then. But a band that was led by two women, Ann and Nancy Wilson, and they were sisters. Ann was the black haired one who sang, and Nancy was the blonde who played guitar. And she was a great guitar player. And I don't mean she was good for a woman. I mean she was good guitarist, period. And of course, Ann Wilson was a fantastic singer. They were two very talented sisters. I don't know how that happened, but it must have been in the genes or something. Then in 1985, they had kind of a comeback, I guess. They did an album called Heart. And so, because of that title, I bet a lot of people thought that was their first album. But no, like I said, they've been around since the 70s, and they just decided to call their new album Heart for some reason. They did a song called What About Love that became a hit. They had another called Never, as in never, no, never, never run away. And this one, These Dreams. I remember loving this one even back then. I didn't get much into What About Love and Never, but this one, oh, even in the very beginning, the whole musical intro, it was like so different from anything else that I knew. It was dreamy, it was mystical, it was, I don't know what, it was like a lullaby almost. It made me want to go to sleep and dream. It was a lullaby and a bedtime story at the same time, but yet a lullaby and bedtime story for a teenage boy. Except that there really wasn't a story in the song. The lines of the song were almost bits and pieces of different stories. So it's a song that the lyrics don't really make sense, but that's okay because it's about dreams, and sometimes dreams don't make sense. This song, it sounds so different from other Heart songs. One reason is because it was sung by Nancy Wilson, not Ann Wilson. I don't know why Nancy sang it and not Ann, but I'm glad she did because it sounds really neat. I mean, Ann Wilson has a fantastic voice. I mean, the way she sang on What About Love and How Do I Get You Alone, man, there's not many people who could have sung those songs like her. Ann had a voice that was both beautiful and powerful at the same time. But yet, I really love the way Nancy sounds in this one. Of course, Ann does sing in certain parts of the song. She does this thing where she just kind of quietly echoes what Nancy sings, and it sounds really good. Yeah, this is a really good song. And here's some trivia. The song was originally written to be recorded by Stevie Nicks. One of the co-writers was Bernie. Bernie was famous for being Elton John's songwriter. And he wrote this song for Stevie Nicks, which is probably another reason why it sounds so much different from other Heart songs, because it wasn't meant to be a Heart song. It was meant to be a Stevie Nicks song. And yeah, that's easy to see, really, because the first verse gives you images of candles and a full moon, and yeah, I could totally picture Stevie Nicks, standing there with a candle among the trees under a full moon. But she didn't want to do it, so as not to let a good song go to waste, Bernie managed to convince Hart to do it. Yeah, I remember one of the lyrics to the song catching my attention. I mean, back in '86, it was the line about, could it be Cloak and Dagger? I had never heard that term before. The only Cloak and Dagger I knew was a comic book from Marvel Comics. They were Marvel superheroes. Cloak was this ugly guy that wore a cloak, and Dagger was a woman in white who shot things from her hands. Yeah, I was a big comic book fan at the time. I would have fit right in with those boys on Stranger Things. Yeah, I don't know if Cloak and Dagger are still around or not, but that was, the only Cloak and Dagger I knew. So, I'd hear that and think, could it be Cloak and Dagger? Is she talking about that comic book? No, surely not. That must have some other meaning. So anyway, yeah, Heart is great, and These Dreams is a great song, and boy, Nancy Wilson, I'd like to know how to get her alone. Ooh, hee 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 hee.